and an 18-year-old living in the house while trying to help our 21-year-old move out. Telling her that we already have so much on our plate and adding another baby right now just isn't a good idea, on top of the fact that she almost died giving birth to our youngest. We both had to go to therapy because of it, and now she wants another one. It blows my mind, which turned into a bigger fight. Her saying some really mean things that I really didn't want to repeat, just in case my children read this. My wife yelled at me and called me the biggest a-hole she ever met. Not to talk to her because it seems to be a waste of time. She is now gone and is staying with her mother as of right now. I tried texting and calling her. She's not responding. It's been 3 days since then. I really don't know what to do. I can't give her a child, even if I wanted to. I couldn't. I had a vasectomy after she nearly died giving birth to our youngest. I never thought we were going to have a baby after all that we went through. Am I the asshole? No.
So much happened.
The crazy thing to me is she said, I can't believe you wouldn't give me a baby after you have 7 kids. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly why he wouldn't give you a baby. This man...
And he did give you, he gave you 3, 2
3, so he's got like 10 kids.
Can I get some clarification? Who's all the parents of the kids? Like the biological parents? Because I thought all of them were her.
No, he's the dad to 7 separate from her.
7 separate from her. They have 3 together.
She had 1 on her own, and then they had 3 more when they got married.
Yeah. So that's 11 kids.
And then she just wants another one because one's getting too old.
She wants 2 more from him. That's crazy. That's so heartbreaking that she's like, I wasted the best years of my life on raising your kids. Because if somebody who was a mom figure in my life said that and I heard that, I'm like, you've been raising me for the past 18 years and this is how you feel about me? You don't care about me because I'm not actually your kid?
Wait, what did he cut out? He said, I wanted to cut stuff out in case my kids read it. That was hurtful.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
What did he not say? Because it was kind of like what you were saying earlier, Josh. It's like, there's a certain point in a relationship, you're having kids, this is a joint decision. If we've had a lot of kids, I'm not an asshole for having a thing that I don't want to do anymore, especially given that we did do it. Because I think this is different than a story where there's people who get in a relationship and they're together. One person before the relationship, before they get married, they're like, hey, I want to have kids. And the other person, yeah, sure. And then they get married and they turn around like, I don't want to have kids. Like, that's a different thing. It's like, we did the kid thing.
3 times.
3 times. And you almost died the last time, and we both agreed, like, hey, that was crazy. Let's not do this again. And then you trying to guilt me and saying, well, I want another one. Like, I thought we decided, and it's okay to say that.
I think a lot of it boils down to the ages. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the husband was 46, and the spouse was 38.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the husband obviously being significantly older, is definitely like even knowing he has 10 kids now, like that's a lot to go through. But from her perspective, that's around the age when women are right about to leading up to menopause. So your body kind of really starts to that biological clock really starts to ticking louder and louder. So,
But what clock? You have 11 kids. What is that? Not like you didn't have kids. You have so many.
The body does weird stuff. It's like I think I read somewhere that once a mother has a child, once you've birthed a child, your body will release a chemical, basically tricking you into forgetting all of the bad stuff of being pregnant and then wanting another child.
Well, okay, there might be chemical reactions, but there's also reality too. And I don't know their financial situation, but it doesn't seem like a good financial decision to have.
There's too many 4 minutes.
Say, what's one more? Like, kids are expensive, and I feel like he's thinking in multiple different ways.
No,
you almost died. This is an added responsibility. This is a human being that we're bringing in this world. This is not an accessory, because it seems from his comments that we're hearing from him is like an accessory. I want another baby to have a baby because this one, our 4-year-old's too old.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with your points. and I don't think OP is the asshole,
Mm-hmm.
but keeping a little bit of perspective of the other side of this story, that's all I'm trying to present.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's updates on this.
Yes, there's 2 other updates. I'm gonna read the top comment here for this first story. So, not the asshole. People are focusing on the vasectomy when that isn't the point of this post. When someone has a medical procedure, they're not obligated to share it with anyone, not even their wife, if that's the case. It's possible she knows since they're reversible. No one should have a baby if their heart isn't in it. It'll breed regret and resentment, especially if you're now finding a little peace and settling into a new, more enjoyable phase in your life, only to start all over again. Your wife is lashing out and trying to hurt you, emotionally manipulating you, and trying to force your hand into getting what she wants. She might even lay down an ultimatum, have the baby or it's over. Honestly, you're nearly 50. I don't know what kind of physical condition you're in, but one can make a point that it's a little unfair to be having kids so late when they might not have you for very long. Young adults need so much guidance. You're going to burn out. If your wife is making this into a big deal, I would prepare yourself for this marriage to be over. Because even if she comes back and drops the issue, she might stay to keep the family together, but she'll harbor resentment. With all these stories I've read on here, I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to baby trap you or hooks up with someone to pass off as yours if she doesn't know about your procedure. So that was the other thing I was going to say was he literally wants to spend all the time that he has with his 11 kids, you know? He's like, I don't want to have to go work. Because I get what you're saying, too, of everything that she's feeling. But, like, somebody said, I think it was Sam, and maybe it might have been you in the beginning, too, before the story even went on. It's 50-50, and if he's not down for it, then I think she has to be like, look, maybe 3 is enough. 3 is still a lot of kids. You have a lot to focus on. You also probably want to focus on other things in your life. I don't know, but...
Yeah, because she still gets to make the decision whether, well, that's something I really want. So either if I can't do it in this marriage, then we have the ability to separate and for me to pursue this because this actually is important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's totally her right.
Mm-hmm. And as his for getting a vasectomy, he said, I'm not getting
Which
pregnant.
I kind of disagree with that comment part of like...
He should have told her.
You definitely should tell your wife you get a vasectomy. I don't know. I think there's things that you share with between your wife and husband, your wife and husband, that you should tell those kinds of things to them. That's not something you should keep to yourself, probably.
Because that makes me think of a story that we had a few months ago where the husband had a vasectomy and he was trying to convince his new young wife that they were going to have a baby.
Oh, yeah.
And he was lying to her the whole time. Yeah. Like, oh, why aren't we getting pregnant? Yeah, so I also do not agree. You should communicate that even if you go make the decision yourself, to be like, hey, I just had a vasectomy.
Tell them like, I'm doing it.
Right.
But I tell you.
Because isn't it like professional standards? Like, you don't have to do it for professional standards.
Headcanon. He wears eyeliner.
Relationship standards, too.
Wait, what do you mean?
For the vasectomy. Like, professional standards, you don't have to tell anybody that you got one. But that doesn't work in the case of relational.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should definitely be telling
You think
people.
he does wings?
So, update. I don't know how to do this update thing, but this is how I'm going to do it. To be honest with you, I really didn't think this would get very minute responses, and I truly appreciate everyone's feedback and advice, especially all the positive ones. I do appreciate the mean ones too. They give me a new point of view on things. I'm going to answer some of the most asked questions. Yes, my wife did leave me home alone with all the children when she left. Yes, we did discuss how many children we would have. Actually, it took us about 3 years of discussing it, and we decided to only have 1 or 2. Our third was a happy/terrifying accident. As for the vasectomy, I did not directly tell her. A lot of people are asking how she wouldn't have known that I had a vasectomy. She left me at that time. The reason why we went through therapy was because I refused to be intimate with her. To be honest, I was terrified of getting her pregnant again and then her dying. Those were some pretty hard times. Our therapist suggested one of us or both of us getting fixed. I thought that was a brilliant idea. My wife, on the other hand, thought it was a little bit extreme, but I did what I had to do to fix my problem. We also went to great depths on discussing having another child. We both decided that her life was way more important and we wouldn't have any more children. So when she said she always wanted 5, I had no idea where that came from. I do plan on having a family meeting with the older children and discussing these things with them, on how she treated them and seeing how this goes. Hopefully it goes well. I'm a little bit nervous. I did hear from my monster-in-law. I mean, my mother-in-law. She told me that my wife wasn't coming home anytime soon, but she will see me at my mother's Thanksgiving. I did take the week off due to my wife not being here, so I can take care of my children. On a side note, my daughter E, the 21-year-old, has been acting weird. After R, the 18-year-old, showed her my Reddit story, E asked me if she could talk to me privately after the family meeting. I did try to persuade her to tell me now. She said that she didn't have enough time and she had to get going for work. Needless to say, I'm really stressed
That elbow looks so weird and I
So
don't
that's
know
the
what's
first
doing
update.
it.
So she didn't know, which I do think was wrong.
Yeah.
But also, talking about traumatic responses, this man is like, I care more about my wife than
Trying to make
the
sure it
baby.
doesn't bleed through.
We don't need any more babies.
Right.
I want you to be healthy,
Yeah.
and I don't know why you think we need more kids, but I think I value your life more, and if it's dangerous, I don't want to do it.
We talked about this.
We talked about only having one or two.
And we went over that, so you got a bonus one. And you still want more?
More.
Sorry, I was writing down. I think using the term monster-in-law is like a massive red flag. Mostly because
it's a classic joke of the whole monster.
I get that, but I think it's something that society needs to you really need to empower yourself into if you have issue with your in-laws, either try to work towards it, and obviously that's up
I
to
read a
both
fanfic.
parties if it's resolved.
Yeah, I read a fanfic with a vampire Dracule. Dracule. Yeah, that's how you say his name. Dracule. Dracule. Dracule.
I mean,
And it was really cool.
It seems like maybe
I was like, oh, what if Buggy's a vampire?
for their relationship.
Because my
She's
favorite's Buggy.
That her mother
Although
is
Dracule is also my favorite,
just
you
I
know?
think so, and I don't think it's that's bad for her mother to support her.
Yeah.
But it's
A mother supporting her daughters.
I know it's almost as hot as your thing, but
Buggy's my favorite. I think he's just the fun. He's the most fun to draw
but
out of all of them.
if
know,
she's doing it just to be
The makeup, all the colors and stuff. It's really fun for me to draw.
continue to be,
Oh, this fucking hand.
I guess, the bad guy, just to be an asshole, like it's not going to help, and it's just even more red flags that, like some of the commenters have said, that relationship just might not last.
Yeah. I mean, like you're saying, especially if she has people in her corner who are like, yeah, no, girl, you're right. You're right.
Should have more kids. Imagine your friend came up to you. Your friend with 11 kids came up to you. So I really want to have another kid, but my husband doesn't want one. What would you say?
close.
I would say I think that's the end of the story. Unless, like you said, so was the relationship over? Or are you looking for somebody else?
Is the wife a banana spider?
Spot.
Spot's struck again. Spot's like, I need to have 600 at least, my last.
Did the spiders write this?
Yeah.
So, final update. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my wife of 10 years another baby? I know you've all been waiting for an update. A lot has happened, and I need some time to process it. Thank you all to those who have reached out to me to make sure that I was okay. Family meeting. I learned that my wife was a good mom / stepmother, but she was a horrible biological mom to M. That was a hard pill to swallow. I learned that she was pregnant. I also learned that my youngest child may not be mine. All I have to say is I wish the family meeting went differently. Day of Thanksgiving. My wife did show up. I tried contacting her several times before the get-together to tell her that I knew that she was pregnant and that we needed to talk, and I never got a response. Every time I tried to talk to her at the get-together, my brother, Dick, would get in the way. Dick would tell me to leave her alone, man, or...
Dick is 100% that father of that baby.
All I have to say is I was getting really sick of him, and it was time to sit down to eat. And she didn't sit by me, she sat by Dick.
Oh.
I thought it was really weird, but it made sense when she made her announcement. She told everyone that she was pregnant with Dick's child, and that she would like a divorce, so her and Dick can have the relationship they deserve. But what hurts the most is when my mother said, huh? I thought we were gonna wait until after the holidays.
I'd beat his ass. Kill him.
After that, it turned into a shit show. I gathered up my children and left, except for P, M, and I. They wanted to stay with their mother. I didn't have the energy to fight them. Before I left, my mother handed me divorce papers and a list of demands from my wife.
Demands?
I will be speaking with my lawyer on Monday.
Murder.
I do
Kill
plan
them all.
on getting counseling / therapy for
Kill
me and
them
children.
all.
I also have to go back and pick up P and M because my wife left them behind and told them she didn't want them. I had a long conversation with my mother. I decided that I would be cutting her out of my life. She's always been a shit mother. That's it.
OP, you can come stay at my house anytime you want. I'm so sorry.
Fuck those
Getting
bitches.
served divorce paper by your mother
mom.
is crazy.
And your brother stole your wife and got her pregnant.
So
Start fighting. Throw hands.
Daughter know then? Is that what?
How do I stop
Is
this?
that what she got?
I think